Hello, and welcome to another session of Tarot Spills the Tea. This one is about Aubrey O, her shadow self, and what she's hiding and why did she run. She is a part of the BET Presents The Encore. She's the only Caucasian lady on there, and she ran like the Dickens, didn't tell anybody. She just ran. I think it was her third time running. So I think the first time she took the bed. She even took the bed, the mattress. Really weird. It was really weird. So this time being her third time they were looking for her, but I think second time actually running. I just thought, she's probably in the basement somewhere, but in actuality, no, she wasn't in the basement anywhere. She was on a plane. All right. So we're going to dive into that. Why did she run? Now, please be advised that the shadow may be gruesome for some. So let me say this one. This one was not gruesome in my opinion at all. Okay. However, when I'm doing the runner's edition, I will continue to say this warning because these cards can be or not be gruesome to some and may not be to some others. And so for me, it's just safe just to give that warning just across the board whenever I'm going to use the deck. And I am going to use that deck for the shadow self of people anytime we're doing a runner's edition. It's very important to just dig in and see what they're hiding, because when you run and you don't really plan to run or you don't tell anybody you're running and all of that, I feel like personally as Indigo Sage that you're hiding something. So I'm going to use that deck, and but this one I can tell you right now, I honestly don't feel like it's gruesome at all. It's not gruesome, but let's get started so that you can see for yourself. I'm going to let you guys know that I've been drinking on a Red Bull right before the session. So hopefully I don't talk too fast. So let me let you know right now who I am. I am Indigo Sage. I do have a spiritual website at unapologeticallysage.com. You can also find unapologetically.com unapologetically sage. See, that's that Red Bull. You can find Unapologetically Sage on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Let's sage this out. So I am going to let you guys know real quick, just in case any of you may not have any idea who Aubrey O is. I'm going to do a quick little tiny breakdown of who she is, and I mean real quick and real tiny. However, first, before we do that, I would love for you guys to bring your beautiful eyes to the bottom of your screen. No matter what screen you're looking at, whether it be an iPhone, Android, iPad, notebook, PC, laptop, TV, whatever it is, please bring those beautiful eyes to the bottom of your screen and look like that red bar at the bottom. And what it says is, this is for entertainment purposes only, and every single word is alleged and not to be used as facts. Anytime you see that red bar at the bottom, please apply the sentence inside. Alrighty. So here, what we have here is a show created by Carlos King and Todd Tucker. Carlos King is one of the previous producers of Real Housewives of Atlanta on Bravo. Him and Phaedra left at the same time, and that's all I'm going to say about that. Then we have Todd Tucker, who is the husband of Candy, who is on Real Housewives of Atlanta, and a part of the group, the older 90s group, Escape. I'm sorry, it escaped my mind. Boom bop. Okay. But yeah, Escape. So these two, they come together. They make shows sometimes. One of them that they came together and made was the R&B Divas. I don't know how many seasons it lasted. I want to say one. I don't know if I'm wrong. And if you guys care about it, you can correct me in the comments below. But they've tried other little shows here and there, you know, and they're trying to make it, you know what I'm saying? Just everybody in this world right now, you know, everybody just trying to get their hustle on. So King and Tucker created this show, and I'm going to refer to them again a little bit later in this reading, but it's important that you guys just get an idea of who they are. They just trying their best to, you know, make $1 out of 15 cents, as we all are. I ain't putting them down for that, but I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you something later. So they asked Aubrey O from Danity Kane to join this super group. Danity Kane was a group formed by Diddy, Puff Daddy, I forgot, Sean Puffy Combs, you know, he has all those names, you know. And if you're not for sure with all who that was, he worked with Biggie. That's how I first was introduced to him. I loved Biggie, you know, as a rapper and everything. And you know, Puff Daddy was always doing a 1-2 step in the videos and stuff. So and I liked 112. So yeah, Puff Daddy was always on a 1-2 step in the Biggie videos and 112 and Mace and everything. So anyway, that's Puff Daddy, and he had a show on, I believe, allegedly MTV, where it was called Making the Band, and he made Danity Kane. So what you see at the top right is Aubrey O when she was in Danity Kane. Then slowly after the years, her appearance has changed, but just roll with me. So at the bottom of the screen, this is the show. This is 2 little screen grabs from the show. And to the bottom left, you see them practicing dance moves. To the bottom right, you see Cinnamon, the vocal coach, working with them. But I'm going to bring you real quick back to that bottom left where they're rehearsing dancing. Let me tell you something. Something we cannot take away from her, whether you like her or not. Because a lot of people seem to not like Aubrey. I don't have a feeling either way. I'm kind of neutral on her, because to me, she hasn't done anything better or worse than any of the other girls. So that's how I judge whether or not I like or dislike someone. In order for me to like them on whatever show, they have to like rise above something. In order for me to dislike them, they gotta go low. So she hasn't went higher or lower than anybody else. So I don't know. I'm just neutral about her, but I did want to know why she was running. Like, what the hell was that all about? So that's what we're digging into. But if you look at this picture where they dance, let me tell you something. She has on high heels, and that's what the hell I'm talking about. Because when you're on stage, you're gonna be dancing in high heels. So to me, that shows commitment. That shows commitment. That's how you're supposed to practice, in my opinion, my humble opinion. I ain't never been a part of that's probably one of the jobs I haven't had. I've never been a part of a international singing group or nothing like that. But I do agree with practicing and learning dance moves in heels if you are going to be doing those dance moves in heels. So anyway, continuing on. So what we have here is a couple of screenshots from the show. A little bit looking like a hot mess at the top and to the left. That was her confessional look, which is very, very different from the Danity Kane look. And it's so funny because I was listening to people talk about Aubrey as they were reviewing the show. And let me admit right now, you guys, with my hands up in the air, okay, that I didn't watch Making the Band. I did not know who Danity Kane was before I started watching Encore. Okay. However, I started watching it because I knew the other people, and I didn't know who she was. And then as I listened to people do the reviews and stuff, the first thing that everybody said was how different Aubrey looks, how different Aubrey looks, how different Aubrey looks. And I'm like, who the hell is Aubrey anyway? Who is this? Why is she even on here? I don't even know who she is. Yeah, so then I looked her up and I was like, oh, Lord Jesus. What they did. Oh, my gosh. You know what? It reminds me of, I don't know if you guys are even old enough to know about Eddie Murphy's comedy stand-ups, where one of them, I think, was when he had the purple leather on and he was making fun of his aunt falling down the stairs, and she kept saying, oh, Lord Jesus, Jesus, please, Lord Jesus, Jesus, please, Lord, oh, Lord Jesus, help me, Lord. That's kind of the reaction when I already felt like, look at this confessional look. I already felt like she looked a little ridiculous, overdone, but I didn't judge her, because if you are of a certain weight, you're going to have bigness everywhere. When I saw her picture, what she originally looked like, I was like, oh, Lord Jesus, Jesus, please. Oh, Lord Jesus, please. What is this? Please, Lord Jesus, help me, Lord. That's how I felt, because it was just, I think she overdid herself, because she doesn't look, just even in the face, she doesn't look the same. All right, so that's something in her. I don't know where she's going with that. You understand what I'm saying? Like, before this reading, where is she going with that? Like, making herself look completely different. What is that all about? Like, what's that all about? So then right next to that, the middle top, where she's in the black, this is the part where she was cussing out Keely, because she overheard Keely talking the mess. So, she felt Keely deserved a good cuss out. And I tend to agree with that, but, I be trying to be seriously fighting, and I said this in one of the last recent readings, that it's easy to cuss out and tongue lash. It's harder to stay in your love and light position and, express how you feel with kind words. And sometimes you have to balance it out and see if it deserves a response at all. Sometimes that's what you have to do. So, anyway, she did some cussing out. Then what you see to the right of that is her taking a picture out of the airplane window, and she captioned it as, been flying for 2 days now. So when she left for real. Like, she left. It said that she went to Dubai. I don't know if I'm saying it right. I've never been, but Dubai, I believe, is how you pronounce it. Either way is Dubai. She went to Dubai and said bye-bye. And so that's a real big running away. Like, she wasn't playing. Like, she got out the country. All right. But while she was on the show, she sang, she danced, she talked shit, she cussed people out. She was creative, and then she slept. After waking up to a wake-up call, she bounced. Hit him with the half ounce. Okay, she bounced. She left the women hanging in the middle of the project without prior notification. She ran. But why though? We're going to get into it right now. Okay, so in the first position, we have the past, which is represented by the Four of Cups. And in this reading, with these 5 cards, there was only one reversal. All right. So that was pretty good. So the past is represented by the Four of Cups, and it's upright. Came in upright. And what I want to say straight up, looking at the imagery, notice, okay, so what I got from it is meditation. This person is in a meditative state of mind. When you are in a meditative state of mind, you're trying to balance your energy. You are trying to be open, opening your subconscious, open to what spirit guides you, open to your angels, open to your higher power. So this is her in the past. Notice the rat. At the bottom of the card to the right, there's a white rat coming up to them cups. So here's the thing with the 4 of cups. So she already had 3 cups. Excuse me. That's allergies. She already had 3 cups. And a lot of times some people say, oh, 4 of cups is when, you have 3 cups and you're not satisfied and you want more. Yeah, it can be taken like that. It can be, but so she has 3 cups and she's being offered another cup. She's meditating and has been offered another cup. So I'm going to tell you why I feel like that rat is representing King and Tucker. All right, Carlos and Todd. But let me read my summary that I wrote. So she's recovering from something that happened in the past that she didn't like. And I have under that redemption from Diddy. Because apparently people didn't, like I said, I didn't watch the show, but people didn't have a lot of good things to say about her on the show. So maybe she felt like she needed to redeem herself. And I threw maybe in there because I don't know I saw some clips and she was out of line sometime, but at the same time, I don't know if the other girls may have been out of line either. It was like a little highlight thing on her. So, but a lot of people voiced their opinion and said she was out of line. All right. Haunted by some event that didn't play out how you wanted it. Again, which is why she didn't invite anyone to the listening party, okay? Because a lot of people commented on no one was there for her for the listening party. My gut feeling is that she didn't invite them, or either she didn't want them there, because I kind of feel like Tucker and King are the ones who reached out and invited the former group members and all that kind of stuff. However, I feel like Aubrey, I didn't even think when they announced that it's going to be your former bandmates, this, that, and the other, I instantly, like, something in me just felt like Aubrey doesn't want that. I felt like she didn't want that. She didn't. I don't feel like she wanted them there. And then when we saw it, it kind of made sense to me. Like, I didn't exactly know why I was feeling like that. I just felt like that. And then when we saw it, it kind of made sense because she was saying she didn't have a big part. She kind of didn't like it. Y'all know her face was toe up. And I'm sure she felt kind of the way that Pam felt when Pam was saying, they're going to feel like I left them for this. So it has to sound good. It has to be good because they're going to feel like that. Okay. She felt like that too, except for Pam was confident in it sounding good. Homegirl Aubrey was not. She was not. She didn't feel confident in it, and you can see when she was making all them faces. Next, she longs for a chance to show her growth. She wants someone to offer her a cup. So this is the past. So she was wanting to show her growth from the Diddy days. And she wanted someone to offer a new cup in order for her to show her growth. She's a new person. She's professional. She's different now. She's here for the group, which, if you guys remember, she, made that vision board. So, she was trying to show that she can be a group, just want to show herself in a different light. And back to the rat, I'm sure that they told her she could do that. See, we have no idea what Tucker and King and Tucker told each individual woman. Okay? But I'm sure they all were told about the same thing, like they pumped them up. But I'll get on that a little bit more later. But they're the rats in this. And I'm a little more feeling like King is more of like 60% of the rat, and Tucker is 40% of the rat. But either way, they're feeling like they got to do this kind of stuff in order to make a good show. I've never produced a show, all right? But I don't feel like you have to mislead people in order to make a good show, because you know darn well they misled Keely, the one coming in talking about, I'm not singing, I'm not dancing, I'm gonna tell y'all what to do. You know darn well they misled her, giving her the thought that she could come in there and be like that. Like, girl, bye. So anyway, moving on. In the present position, this was also upright, and it's the Lovers. Now, I've said before, and I'll say it again, that the Lovers, it's a major arcana card, and it is not to be confused with the Two of Cups. The Two of Cups talks about and is related to, most of the time, relationships. However, the Lovers are not related to relationships. They are mostly related to decision making, having to make a decision, and sometimes partnerships, but as it relates to like decision making. So in the present, there's the upright Lovers card. Now, the highlight and specific for this situation is how she was feeling as she made the decision to leave. Is it will be a great partnership and mutually beneficial. You and your business partner are on the same wavelength, will work well together and be mutually supportive of each other. Now, what I'm saying and getting ready to say is alleged. Let me tell you something. When I found out that she left to Dubai, I felt she was going with someone. Then it was reported that she was alone. She was alone, traveling alone. All right, so traveling alone doesn't mean she's going to be down there alone. So that's one thing that I need to say. She could be meeting someone down there, someone who she wants to spend time with down there. Could be on a separate flight. I mean, I just didn't get the feeling that she's just going to be wandering around Dubai completely 100% alone. I just didn't feel that way. And I still don't. So when this came up, I was like, okay, this makes sense to me. There's some kind of partnership she has down there, because the present card is influenced by the past card. All right. Which, as I just said, was she wants to like show that she's grown. And I don't feel like she felt like she was able to do that on this show. She thought that she could, which is why she accepted it. But she feels like that didn't end up happening. And that influenced her present decision and position, which, is her leaving, running away. And this is saying that there's a partnership that's going on that's mutually beneficial. She's running away with that in mind. She's running to Dubai. So here's the thing. Even if I, Indigo Sage, am not right with my guess that there's someone down there, she's not alone, then this is what it means. The partnership that she's working on would be her conscious and subconscious self. So it's like self and higher self. Get into it, okay? We all have a self, which comes out as our conscience. Then we have our higher self, which is our subconscious. You should already know where I'm going. They need to be in balance with each other. A lot of times we don't listen to our higher self. And I'm not saying higher self is not higher power. Higher power is something else. Higher power is usually related to spirituality, religion, all of that. That's higher power. Okay. Your higher self is what's in your subconscious. You just on a subconscious level. And a lot of times our subconscious needs reconditioning because we pull in a lot of stuff from when we were younger and how we were raised and our culture and our environment. And like we be, and then we can stuff away bad stuff that happened to us when we were younger. We just stuff that on down and put it in a suitcase and lock it away in a closet. And that's our subconscious, which is our higher self. So again, the higher self and self, our conscience and subconscious needs to be balanced and have a great partnership. So either way, she's not alone. But I mean, and I know that might not, I'm trying to make it make sense to where everyone who's listening can understand. But basically, it's balancing. It's the yin and yang inside you. The yin and yang of it. Okay? That's how I'm going to put it. So the best of it, the best that how she sees it, her running away to Dubai, is the strength card. However, this is the one that was in what? Reverse. This was in reverse. And I thought, oh my God, how is that the best? Why you want strength reverse? Strength reverse, booyah, is exactly what I was saying and how I felt. Her body and mind needs to come back into balance. So her leaving, she's leaving away from everything that she feels like made her spirit out of balance. And you know what? And I should knock on wood because I'm not wishing this upon her, but her doing this reminds me of Lisa. Some people said Lisa Lopes and some said Lisa Lopez, but Lisa from Left Eye. She left and went somewhere, not for sure if it was Dubai or Egypt or somewhere. She went out of the country to balance her body and mind and soul. And unfortunately, she passed away out there. So I'm not saying that I'm not wishing that upon Miss O'Day. But what I'm saying is this running away to get body and mind balance is just, to me, similar. So yeah, that's the best of her decision, how she sees it, and it's reversed because she wants the strength back. She feels like she lost her strength somewhere along the way. Somewhere along the way, she probably feels like she lost herself, and and she thought she would be getting it back by joining this group and really, you know what, it wasn't about her getting her strength back. Let me rephrase that. She thought she'd be able to show how much she's grown, show a different side of herself, show that she can work in a group, she can get along, she like redemption. She wanted to show her how much she's grown, type of thing. And when she realized that that's not what's about to happen, she was out. She wants to gain her strength back, which is why this card was in reverse. And she feels like the way to gain her strength back is balancing her body and mind. Let me say this. The worst is coming up next. But step to the mic and click like and subscribe for me. Do it for the one time. All right, click like, subscribe, and the bell if you want to be notified of the upcoming videos. The next video I plan on doing is about Evelyn running away. Evelyn Lozada. Okay. She ran away from the basketball wives. She ran. And a lot of people probably are happy about that. I find it interesting. But the next video will be about, she's our next runner, put it like that. The Lozada, she's our next runner. And I'm just a card reader. I'm just gonna read the cards, whatever they say, good, bad, ugly. I don't know how her shadow card gonna turn out. You know, I kind of feel like that one will be gruesome, but I don't know. We'll have to find out. You have to stay tuned. You should click subscribe and click that bell so that you know when the Lazada reading comes out. All right, let's look at the worst. All right, so let me read the summary first. I am controlling myself. I'm not getting ready because I want to break down this imagery so bad. But let me read the summary first. So the worst in her mind of this decision for her to bounce up and leave is that the supergroup blueprint becomes not only successful but mailed smoothly without fights because she left, which makes it seem as though she is at fault for the chaos and dysfunction in the group. Let me say this. She's not the first person who I've done a reading on who, in the worst position, their worst was that everything works out fine for the others that were involved. I cannot stand that. I cannot stand that. That's the worst for you, is that everybody is cool and good and the project ends up being great. What kind of shit is that? That shit shows up when a person is a narcissist. And I don't even really like throwing that word around because I feel like nowadays it's thrown around a lot and it doesn't always fit. People are just, that's like a hot word or whatever. But I've already said, I've talked about narcissism extensively on my website, unapologeticallysage.com. On the menu, the tab is called The Narc in My Arse, and there's a lot of narcissist information. And I can talk about narcissism because I have a lot of experience with multiple narcissists. So it irritates me when people just use it. They're quick to use it. But what I am going to say that one of the traits of a narcissist is that they feel like the worst would be for everybody else to be great. That's crazy to me, and I cannot stand it. That's a trait that I cannot stand because ultimately, you guys already know probably what I'm getting ready to say. We all need to just love each other and send love and light and wish the best for everybody, because I always say, as we are candles with our own light, it doesn't take any light from our candle to light another person's candle. Get into it. So the whole embodiment of, if I'm not with them, I don't want them to be great, that's effed up. And it's not right. And that tends to be a trait of a narcissist. However, I never really seen a narcissist try to get their mind and body and soul together. So, I'm not claiming she's a narcissist, because you don't have to be a narcissist to have fucked up thoughts. You don't. Just because you have messed up thoughts or selfish thoughts, because I think this is a selfish move on her part. She doesn't want them to be great if she's not there. But the reason why is not even that she doesn't want them to be great. She's worried about the appearance. The appearance is going to be, oh, now that she left, she was the reason because now we're great. She's worried about appearances. See, a real true narcissist does not want you to be great, period. It ain't about appearance. It's just about, I don't want you to be good. I don't want you to be good. It's not about appearance with them. It's the heart and soul of them is, I wish bad on everybody. Hers is not about wishing bad on everybody. It's the appearance, what it will look like. That once she left and then they thrive and become great, it's going to look like she was the reason why there was chaos going on and dysfunction. She's worried about the appearance. She doesn't wish them harm, She's worried about how it's going to look. So she just wants the same, whatever she thinks is the mess and chaos, she wants that to be the same even as she left, especially so that she can continue to say, like, oh, that's the reason why I had to leave up out of there. You get what I'm saying? She wants to be able to say that that's the reason why she had to leave, and she'll be able to, that excuse will go over much better if it's still chaos. It won't go over great, and we know it won't, if once she leaves, all of a sudden they do become that super group. Because we know everybody is going to say, girl, you was the problem. That's where she's coming from. She does not personally wish them each to fail. She just doesn't want it to look like that. She wants them to be in that same dysfunction. Because remember, they had one episode where all they did was argue. That's all they did, like the whole episode. And it was hard to watch. So she wants that to continue so that she's able to say, like, that's the reason why I left. But yet, if it turns out great all of a sudden and they all get along great and smooth and have hits at the hits, it's gonna look like girl O'Day was the problem all day. That's what it's gonna look like. So look at the imagery. The imagery. She's lifting her cup up out of there. It's 9. It was 9 of them. It's 9 cups. Get into it. 9 cups. 9 cups of love and goodness, okay? Because the cups represents the water. Water and cups are the same thing, and they represent emotions. And this is upright, so it's good emotions. And that's the worst. I'm like, girl, you got a lot of nerve. You see how that one cup is held up high? That's her. She envisions that to be her. Like, I'm leaving up out of here. I'm better than this. And Spirit just reminded me how she had said, who do they think they talking to? She was talking about the twins and said something about they better recognize or something. She's that cup, that upper cup. The upper room. She is that upper cup. The cup that's being raised up. That's how she sees herself. And she's leaving all the rest of them down there to try to find their position and who they are and what they doing. And if they don't need that cup and they everything is great, that's the worst in her mind. Okay? Continuing. So for what's to come, we have the Hierophant, which is, again, a great card. She got some good cards. So what's to come? The Hierophant. Upright. Here the card reveals a strong pull toward an individual who will explain the meaning of life to you, as well as your role in it. This might be a good affiliation for you to make, or it could be a detrimental affair depending on just who this person is. This goes back to my feeling and me telling you guys that she's on like a spiritual mission. First of all, these cards echo, balancing the mind and the body and spiritual, mission or whatever. Not whatever. I didn't mean to say whatever as if I was dismissive, but I'm just saying, I don't know what words she would use, because whenever we are all on a spiritual journey, it's individual. And we can describe it, however many, if it's 10 individuals, it can be described as in 10 different unique ways, because we're all unique and different. So that's what I meant when I said whatever, because I don't know how she would describe it. But it's a spiritual mission for her. And this goes back to me saying she's going to meet somebody down there that's going to help her with that mind and body balancing, with that higher self and self, with that conscious and subconscious balancing. And that actually is good. There's nothing wrong with that. The only thing I don't like so far is I feel like the rats, Tucker and King, misled her, number one. And I don't like the worst for her is the group succeeding. That's effed up. I don't like that. But her being on this spiritual mission to balance her mind and body, and I want to say soul, get all that together. That's good. That's beautiful. So now we're going to go into her shadow self. And I'll explain exactly what that is right now. Okay, so the shadow self. The shadow is the side of your personality that contains all the parts of yourself that you don't want to admit to having. Self-awareness is the only way to recognize our shadow. So that's a brief description of what the shadow self is. Now, for the runner's edition, I pick from a different deck, a deck that I use only for and specifically for identifying the most highest or biggest or problematic shadow self of someone, the one that relates the most to the situation at hand, the question at hand. So let's dive in and see it for Aubrey O, running away. So this one is forgetting oneself. And again, that makes sense, you guys, as to why she's going to Dubai. And I told you guys it's like she wants to balance her mind and body. And I'm going to add soul, mind, body, and soul. It makes sense that her shadow self is saying forgetting oneself. And I also told you guys it's not gruesome. This one's not gruesome. And I'm going to read to you the description that comes with this card. A naked young man whose curly brown hair are intertwined by a golden laurel crown. Half of a golden mask protects his eyes, while the sky around him breaks, ripped to take the shape of a mistletoe branch. So, the main meaning of this card is saying eating the lotus flower, numbing our identity to go by the sound of a music that was never ours. And I was like, wow, can't make it up. I'm like, how they know that it was about music? But I mean, I know this card could be for anyone. It doesn't mean literally that, someone has to do with music, but it just so happened that this has to do with music. So it is what it is. And what it is saying that she's going by a sound of music that was never ours, never hers, basically. So she went in to try to show that she's grown and that she's a better person and she can get along with, a group dynamic, and she's here for everybody. And, she had that creativeness. She was trying to take Keely's spot with the creativeness and wanted everybody to get along. She wanted to be queen. She was voted queen. And then she slept. And isn't it ironic? Well, it's not, because I know how spirit works, but this card also mentions sleeping. But she went in to do that. And the thing about it is that spirit wasn't as advanced as she thought she was, basically. Okay. And this happens to all of us. This happened to me before too, where I felt like, and I even write about this on my website, Unapologetically Sage, how every time I feel like I'm rising to the challenge spiritually, I be feeling like, okay, so I did it. God tested me and I did it. I rose to the challenge and I overcame that challenge, and I handled it well, and I handled it the way that, God wanted me to handle it. And so I've reached the ultimate growing and I'm a better person. Like, I always feel like that. Then as soon as I feel like that, I promise you, like, I get challenged again with an even bigger challenge. And I'll be like, Lord, man, like every time I feel like it, well, I don't want to say like it can't get worse, because that's not what I'm saying. Just the challenges in our life. You know, when you go through a hard challenge and you conquer it in a good way, you know what I'm saying? Like you feel like you've handled it good. You know, everybody, you know, everybody still got their wigs on. You know what I'm saying? You didn't have to knock off no wigs. You know, you feel good about yourself. You didn't have to cuss nobody out, you know, so you handled it good. And you may have just walked away, and it may have been hard to do, but like you recognize, okay, that's the best thing for me to do. I'm just going to do this, or, you know, or even there's been times where people have come at me and I'm like, ooh, you know what? We need to talk about this another day when all parties have calmed down, you know, and especially if there's any drinking involved. I'm like, oh, no. See, that's that alcohol. So, you know, we need to talk about it the next day or whatever, you know. But when you're faced with a challenge and you don't handle it the way you used to before you got on your spiritual path, and you're more, you know, when you become more enlightened and you handle it in a great way, you just feel like, yes, I did it. I've accomplished it, you know. But then God or your higher power will inevitably, sometimes they'll give you more. And it can be a challenge or it can be easy peasy. It just depends on where you are on your spiritual journey. So she went in thinking that this was going to be easy peasy, and it wasn't. Continuing. Okay, so this card's description mentions eating the lotus flower. And then it didn't explain exactly what that meant or where it came from. I never heard of it. So the nerd in me had to look it up and find it out. So this is what I found out. Eating the lotus flower. The lotus fruits and flowers were the primary food of the island and were a narcotic, causing the inhabitants to sleep in peaceful apathy. After they ate the lotus, they would forget their home and loved ones. They'd only long to stay with their fellow lotus eaters. Those who ate the plant never cared to report nor return. That was interesting. And this is her shadow card. What it is that someone doesn't want us to know, or anyone to know, not us, because she don't know us personally, you know. But forgetting oneself. So I'm taking the eating the lotus flower and the meaning as a metaphor and not literal. And it talks about sleeping, and I felt like, oh my gosh, editing is doing her wrong. But after looking at her shadow card, maybe editing didn't do her wrong. Because in editing, they showed her after she became queen and the women were down there doing a lot of the practicing and getting it together, they showed her sleeping. And at one point, Keely had to go upstairs and wake her up and bring her downstairs to sing her part. And this is all while she was queen. That was rough. But every time they needed her, camera cut to her sleeping, or talking mess on her phone in the bed, upstairs in her bed with the covers, just talking mess about everybody downstairs who was working. So there was a lot of sleeping going on. Yeah. So like I said, I don't take the words literal. I take it as figuratively and as a metaphor. Just sleeping in peaceful apathy, and then only wanting to be around fellow lotus eaters could just mean only wanting to be around people who she connect with, and she felt like she did not connect with them at all, and she chose sleep. And it closes out by saying those who ate the plant never cared to report nor return. Okay, this explains her leaving. Let's continue, because there's just a little bit more. So here's the summary of Aubrey's shadow self card, which is forgetting oneself. If you let go of the pressure and the pain, if you let go enough of your identity and the context you live in, then you will just feel better. It is what happens when you fall asleep, when you take refuge in the arms of a loved one, or when you watch a movie slumped ungraciously on a comfy couch. Sometimes, however, it asks for more. It takes more out of you, more of yourself to be forgotten, to feel just a little better. And maybe the twisted idea that if you forget everything, then you will actually really feel better. Forgetting everything, letting everything go. Not just as a moment of rest, but as a jump in the dark. It is like vertigo. You stand on the edge of the precipice, and a little part of you wants to jump. But it is just a moment of rest, a moment of pause, a moment of uncreative selfishness. So what? Let it be, and sleep soundly. That's what this card means. If you let go of enough of your identity and the context you live in, then you will just feel better. That's what she was feeling and didn't want anyone to know. So she went from trying to preserve her identity and rescue it or rehab it, redo it, remake it, prove herself that she, prove to everyone watching us that she's grown and all that kind of stuff. She went from wanting to do that to deciding to completely let go of her identity and the context that she lives in so that she can just feel better. I can see that. That makes sense. But here's the thing, what I wonder, why was that a secret? And I guess it was a secret because, let me tell you something, she probably was on the edge the whole entire time. On the edge of leaving, like, which we know because I think I was going to call her out her name. I think the woman left 3 times and packed her mattress on one of the times. I'm like, how you pack your mattress? So she was always on the edge of leaving, on the edge of leaving. I think she wanted to leave already before she even got there, and she felt like this was the last straw, my last chance, my last hoorah, my last, let me make this right. Let me show everyone in the world and show myself. Spirit just said show myself. She tried to show herself. Oh, yeah. She tried to prove to herself that she's not the problem and that she can be in a band with a lot of women and that she's not the problem. Bingo. She tried to show herself. She tried to prove to herself. And it didn't work out good. Because, especially when she started cussing folks out. Some people do need... Y'all not going to get me to say some people need to be cussed out. Some people, do need to be put in a place sometimes, like checked. Okay, that's the word that I be using. Some people occasionally do need to be checked, because you can't just smile and walk away from everything and everybody all the time. I tried it and it didn't work, because people just continue to try you. Some people just continue to try you when you do all of that smiling and walking away and just saying, like, may God bless you, and just keep walking away from folks. Some people will continue to poke until they get checked. Chickadee check. Some people need to be checked now. But it didn't turn out the way that she thought it would. She was getting challenged. She felt like more than what she did. She left before, because she knows she was cussing folks out. And in her leaving speech or whatever, her confession, her goodbye confessional, she was saying, who do these twins think they talking to? They better recognize and respect me, put some respect on my name. So you could see the beginning of the breakdown of going a different path instead of rising above all the haters. Like Candy said, like Todd's wife said, rise above all the haters. I rise above. It was a thin line between rising above and something else. So she saw that this ain't working. It's not working out. So she left. She bounced. I don't agree with how she bounced, but I do understand wanting to preserve, self-preserve when you feel like you are in an unhealthy environment. And you're trying to, depending on where you are in your spiritual journey, you don't need to be in an unhealthy environment. Okay? Where every day you're getting challenged and challenged and challenged and poked and poked and poked and poked. Depending on where you are in your spiritual journey, you don't need to be in that position. And apparently she felt like she did not need to be in that position. She thought that she was cool. And when I say cool, meaning in a mind space where she could calmly and coolly handle and deal with whatever comes at her. That's what she thought. But she feels like it was something different, which probably, is because of the rats, which is the tucker and the king, gave probably each one of them women a different promising idea of what it was going to be like. You know what I'm saying? While sneaking in the line. But it is what you make it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure they promised, these are all going to be prestigious, mature women who, they're not going to start anything, all high level women who had #1 hits. So they ain't got time to be fighting. And then they probably say, but it is what you make it. You know what I'm saying? That's why I call them a rat, because they two-faced. They telling them what they want to hit. They're building it up to be something that it's not. But then also on the other hand, they feel like they balancing it out by saying, but it is what you make it. That's rat behavior to me. But maybe that's just me. Lastly, as I close this session out, I want to ask you guys again to please click like and subscribe. But also I want you guys to take away this. When you recognize everyone's value, you increase your own. Okay? If all of those ladies on Encore just recognize each one of their value and talent, then they would be a super group. Get into it.